Hi, welcome to Raga Made Chapter 1, Part D. My name is YJ Arun House. Today we'll be discussing how to make pentatonic scales and notate them in alphanumeric notation so that in a split second, when you hear the name of a raga with the four names I already taught you, you will know what notes they consist of. Theoretically, there are 16,200 pentatonic scales in Carnatic music, though in practice, only about 100 are being used, whereas in Western music, only 4 or 5 pentatonic scales are used. So once you learn the modified naming system that I have taught you, you can experiment with all 16,200 while writing your songs or improvising, especially if you're a jazz musician. As I told you in the last class, there are 72 Sampurna ragas, also called as parent ragas or wholesome ragas, which means they have all 7 notes in ascending and descending in order. You may know it as heptatonic scales. Among the 72 heptatonic scales, we learned how to notate 32 of them. The 40 I've held on to for later classes. But it's the same principle if you do the permutation combination of 1 Angie and 6 Nati, as well as T Angie and T Nati, along with the other 4, 2 Toddy, 3 Maya, 4 Mina, and 5 Shankar, you will get 72 permutation combinations. And these 72 scales comprise of all the parent ragas or heptatonic scales in Carnatic music. I have given a PDF file of these 72 heptatonic scales and its notations in the description. However, I have not given the notation for any name that has Angie or Nati. We shall fill in those blank later on in chapter 3, as I said. Notating a pentatonic scale known as Audava Raga in India is easy. Let's take the major scale, Shankar Shankar, as an example to make a pentatonic scale, a major pentatonic scale, which is very common in Western music and around the world. We know that the major pentatonic scale does not have the fourth and the seventh. So if we write Shankar Shankar and then -4 7, it is obvious that this is a scale without two notes, that is 4 and 7, in from the major scale. So the sorghum notation for this will be sa, re, ga, pa, dha, sa. Ma and ni or me and ne are missing. If you want it in the alphanumeric notation, starting from piano key C, that is tab C, it will be C, D, E, G, A, C. So remember, the major pentatonic scale can be written as Shankar Shankar -47, and it instantly becomes clear that it is without the fourth and the seventh, the major scale without the fourth and the seventh. Now let's take another example of minor pentatonic. Name it and notate it. We know that the minor pentatonic does not have the second and the sixth. So if you see the name minor toddy -26, you will immediately know that the minor pattern is sa, re, ge, ma, and the toddy pattern is pa, the, ne, sa. But the -26 tells you that there is no re and there is no de. So the alpha numeric notation in sorghum will be sa, ge, ma, pa, ne, sa. Or the alpha numeric notation in the C octave will be C, lowercase e, F, G, lowercase b, and C. I'm sure by now you can recall from memory the piano keyboard pattern with alphabets C, D, E, F, G, A, B. However, it may take some more time for you to associate each of these alphabets to the sorghum note sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa, and the flat notes sa, re, ge, mi, pa, the, ne, sa. Once you go through the exercises I'm giving after this lesson in separate videos, you will be able to do all that very easily. So I repeat, minor pentatonic is minor toddy -26, and the notes will be sa, ge, ma, pa, ne, sa. In scale degrees, they are tonic, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor seventh, and octave. Now, those among you who are sharp and think way ahead may think even minor minor -26, which is the Dorian mode without the second and the sixth, will also give the same scale. Yes, of course, it can be written like that. I chose minor todi because we all know that it is a pentatonic scale derived from the minor scale, not the Dorian mode. To give you some further example of such, about 100 years back, in Carnatic music books, the major pentatonic was notated as Shankar minor minus 47, which means those days they considered it to be a Mixolydian pentatonic. But now maestros treat it as a Ionian pentatonic, that is a pentatonic of major scale. In Carnatic music, it makes a slight difference because Carnatic music has something called gamagam, which means ornamentation of each note. Gama, gamagam can be loosely translated as maybe grace notes, or better yet, I'll explain it in terms of guitar, electric guitar, lead guitar. It's like you slide or bend your note from one note to another in ascending or descending. Those kind of technique is called ornamentation. Probably they used to, slide from minor seventh down to any note hundreds of years back, but now people prefer to slide or bend the note from major seventh, even though the seventh is not in the note, just as a grace note. In between, they add that for ornamentation. Anyway, this is not relevant to Western music audience because what I expect the Western audience to do is learn the plain notes and give your own ornamentation depending on what is applicable in your ethnicity, in your ethnic music background. Like the gamagams or the ornamentation for Carnatic music and Hindustani music are totally different. So the same raga Shankar Shankar, which is called Shankarabharanam in Carnatic, and Bilaval in Hindustani, will sound totally different when they sing it. I'd rather you, if you're a Western music musician, I'd rather you do your own ornamentation styles. And that I think is the greatest feature that I love about Western music because if you hear, say, Jimi Hendrix to Santana to Jeff Beck to David Gilmour, each one has their own unique way of bending the note, or pulling the note or vibrato or whatever. So, even though we have all these in Indian music, Carnatic music, um, I I suggest you do it with your own imagination. Don't try to learn the Carnatic ornamentation per se, unless you want to get that ethnic feel to it. So now you know it doesn't matter which name you choose between your band members to communicate a pentatonic scale, as long as the notes are right and coincide with the four names I taught you. Now let's examine how in Carnatic music theory, there are 16,200 pentatonic scale. From the 72 Melakarta Raga, sorry, Melakarta Raga I have not told you before. That is a word for heptatonic scales or the complete scales, wholesome scales. Mela means ensemble, Karta means creator, Raga, of course, you know. So Melakarta Raga means the creator Raga or the parent Raga. From the 72, let's take one a sample and see how many we can get. I have taken Shankar Shankar, which is, of course, your favorite scale, that is the major scale. Now, you know the notes for Shankar Shankar is Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Dha Ni Sa, all in capital letters. Or the alphanumeric notation is C D E F G A B C. If we omit any of the two notes, excluding the tonic or the root note, we will get 15 different combinations. If you want, you can take a paper and a pen and try to figure it out yourself, or you just listen to this. First three will be having all four notes in the first tetrachord, that is sa, re, ga, ma, and the fifth note, pa in number one, dha in number two, and ni in number three, which can be written as Shankar Shankar minus 67, Shankar Shankar minus 57, Shankar Shankar minus 56. Next set of three will be missing Ma in the first tetrachord and one note each in the second tetrachord. So scale 4 will be Sariga Padhasa, Sariga Panisa, Sariga Dhanisa, which have the name Shankar, Shankar minus 47, Shankar Shankar minus 46, Shankar Shankar minus 45. The fourth one we already learned that it is a major pentatonic scale, Shankar minus 47. Again, we'll get another three scales if we just exclude one note, the third from the major scale, Shankar Shankar. So the notes will be Sarima Padhasa, Sarima Panisa, Sarima Dhanisa. And the names will be Shankar Shankar minus 37, Shankar Shankar minus 36, Shankar Shankar minus 35. Now again another three if we exclude the second re from the first tetrachord. So the notes will be Sagama Padhasa, Sagama Panisa, Sagama Dhanisa. And the names will be Shankar Shankar minus 27, Shankar Shankar minus 26, Shankar Shankar minus 25. Now, if we exclude two notes from the first tetrachord and the second tetrachord is a whole, that means all the notes in the second tetrachord are there. So the notes will be 13 Sari Padhanisa, 14 Saga Padhanisa, 15 Sama Padhanisa. So the names are 13 Shankar Shankar minus 34, 14 Shankar Shankar minus 24, 15 Shankar Shankar minus 23. These notations are only for the ascending and the descending being the same notes. Now, if we take, say, the first one we learned, Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Sa, that is Shankar Shankar minus 67, in the ascending, and change the descending to any of the other 14, you get another 14 more. So total, another 15. Like that, if we do ascending and descending notes different for all 15, we get by the formula of permutation combination 15 into 15 225 different scales in just Shankar Shankar itself. And if we do the same procedure with all 72 heptatonic scales, that is Sampurna Ragas, we will get 225 into 72 different scales, which is 16,200 different scales, that is pentatonic scales. As a demonstration of the power of YJ naming system in Raga Made easy, if I tell you what are the notes for Shuddha Dhanyasi or what are the notes for Mohanam, unless you are a Carnatically trained musician, you will not have any clue what notes are behind it. Or if I tell you the major pentatonic or the minor pentatonic, I'm sure the Carnatic musicians will not have any clue what are the notes behind it. Whereas in the YJ naming system, if I give you the name Shankar Shankar minus 47, you will immediately know the notes are Sariga Padhasa. That is if you have already memorized the name and the patterns associated with it. And if I say minor minus 26, you will immediately know it is the minor pentatonic because the second and the sixth are missing. And the Carnatic musicians will know it is the raga called Shuddha Dhanyasi. It is the scale for that raga. And Shankar Shankar minus 47 is nothing but Mohanam, arguably the most famous pentatonic in Carnatic music. Now I'm going to give you some of the most popular pentatonic scales of Carnatic music. I'll just say the name and see if you can figure out the notes in that scale. Minor minus 36. Next one is Shankar Shankar minus 46. Next one is minor toddy minus 25. Then Shankar Shankar minus 37. Toddy minus 47. Minor minus 57. Minor minus 47. Minor minus 26. Shankar minus 47, which we have already covered. The Carnatic names of these ragas are Madhyamavadi, Hamsadhvani, Hindolam, Shuddha Saveri, and this Shuddha Saveri is also, I saw it on Chat GPT that it is a Chinese scale called Mangong. Anyway, another one was Bhupalam, Abhogi, Shivaranjani, Shuddha Dhanyasi. In case any Carnatic music lovers are watching this, how many of you could identify the notes, aka swaras, from the YJ's name and actually get to the Carnatic name? That is why I think the YJ system of Raga Made Easy can be used as a universal system where anybody can figure out the scales without memorizing thousands and thousands of raga notation. Bye for now. If you're really interested in this video series, please do subscribe and share it with your like minded friends. Thank you. Bye.